Negroes in this country are confronted by is with a re-education program, not a re-education program for whites, but a re-education program for black people themselves to eliminate the negative image that has been through propaganda instilled within us of ourselves since we've been in this country. It'll take an entirely new approach to restore some kind of racial pride and racial dignity in the minds of the black people. And once we have this pride and this dignity, we can get the cohesiveness and the unity and harmony necessary to solve our own problems here in the black community instead of waiting for representatives of the white community to come uptown and solve these problems for us.
Conversations at Masjid Muhammad Studios. We're honored for you to join us here for another edition of Community Conversations, Freedom School Edition. We're talking about civil liberties. We covered civic engagement, our first one. Our last one, we had the griot, the Balali and griot. Today, we're honored to have Masjid Muhammad's Business Development Chair, as well as our financial literacy coach. And he's going to introduce to some and advocate for others and promote overall the importance of investing in halal money. Without any further ado, and before I go into him, make sure you follow us at Masjid Muhammad Newark on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, as well as join the newsletter at www.masjidmuhammadnewark.org. That's www.masjidmuhammadnewark.org. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to our dear brother, Amir. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum. How you doing, family?
Doing well. So, as we are doing this particular series in relation to the importance of us educating our own, we know there's a big buzz around, financial literacy.
Correct.
Maybe you can give us just a brief understanding of what is financial literacy, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so what I like to do is this. I want to first give you what they call the overall financial literacy is basically the knowledge of how to save, invest, and pay bills, budget your money for banking. That's what the traditional financial literacy. But what we teach here is something called foundational financial literacy. What we actually use that word to mean is literacy means to read. The financial part of it is the market. So what we do is to teach the brothers and sisters how to read the financial markets as to understand where, how, and when it's time for us to make whatever capital rotations we have to do. But the basis of what we learn is the difference, the fundamental differences between money, halal money or real money, and fiat currency, which is just a promissory note from the government.
So in light of that, how do you determine where you should put your time and energy in saving or investing those different financial vehicles?
All right, so the first thing we have to remember is this. We have been indoctrinated with falsehood, right? So let's go back to our deen, right? The first thing in every single religious text, right, from the Torah, the Bible, and now the Quran, everything that we used as money was either gold, silver, or copper. Historically, we're going to go all the way back to ancient Egypt, right? We use gold, which is the dinar, silver, which is the dirham, and copper, which is the fulus. Now, that's real money. If we take the principles that this Western society has taught us into saving a certain percentage of our money, we should be saving a certain percentage of our money, our income, in halal money. Why? Because halal money never loses its value, never being the emphasis, because it is synonymous with being what they call deflationary. Everything that you measure, your food, clothing, shelter, and energy, when you measure it in dollars, which is this stuff, this paper stuff, it is going to get expensive because of inflation. But when you measure it in halal money, which is gold, silver, or copper, it's deflationary. It would actually cost less as time goes on. That's the difference. Now, investments is different. Investments involve risk, right? The difference between saving gold and silver And any type of investment is a disease called risk. Investments will have any type of risk from 1 to 10. But according to history, and now the law of Bank of International Settlements, there is zero risk in holding physical gold, because again, that's money according to the Constitution, the Quran, the Bible, and the Torah. So that's the fundamental basic differences between an investment and saving actual money, which is halal money or lawful money of the United States.
And so in light of that, as a community that has a demand for products and services, we use the traditional dollar, and now it's digital.
Right.
Can you speak to the digital component of funding?
Right. So to get to the history and then go to the digital, we have to understand what makes these dollars valuable in the first place. So I'm going to read this. This right here and this right here are two different things. This is a promissory note from the Federal Reserve. This is a silver certificate, right? So I'm going to read this to show you the fundamental differences, right? This says, this certifies that there is on deposit in the Treasury of the United States of America $1 in silver payable to the bearer on demand. So the way the United States was set up and every other country on earth is when you bought this silver certificate to the bank, they would give you your dirham, which is your money. This was the money. This was a receipt for money. So what happened was in 1964, our president at that time had put this circulation in these units. And in 65, they changed it to this fake promissory note called the US dollar by the Federal Reserve. That's number one. Number two, the reason why gold and silver has value is because they are a finite amount of gold and silver. Allah put basic, or should I say very specific principles in gold and silver that humanity has found value in. And because of that, it will always have value. But the differences between that paper is it's unlimited. They just print paper on a copy machine, right? From the Federal Reserve to the US Treasury. Those things don't have no real value because there's nothing backing it anymore. Now, we are in the new digital age right now. So the world is categorically denying the use of the dollar because it has no value because they're printing too much. So what they've done was created after the 2008 crash, we created a digital currency. So Bitcoin mimics the values of gold and silver. It's limited supply on 21 million, right? Anybody, just like gold and silver, it's a sovereign, neutral sovereign asset. Anybody can own gold and silver, and it has universal value, right? Same thing with Bitcoin. It has universal value based on one's understanding of the finite amount, the use of it, the security of it, and the value of it. So those are the same things.
So the digital Bitcoin, what's the difference between Bitcoin and crypto?
Well, Bitcoin is a crypto, right? That's just like currency. US dollar is a currency. So Bitcoin is a cryptographic crypto, right? Just like Ethereum, Stellar, Quant, XLM, XRP, all of those are digital currencies. But the US dollar is being changed into what they call a stable coin. A stable coin is basically a digital representation of the dollar that's stable to the US dollar. The problem is it is still subject to inflation. If a mint or US dollar stable coin is still going to bring the value of that dollar down. That will not happen according to the last 15 years of history. Bitcoin started off with a fractional gain in 2009, right? But today we call $65,000 for that same Bitcoin.
So where should we go from here? Like the current conditions, the environment that we're in, experiment, and how should a common person get involved in terms of funding or financing and investment?
So, unfortunately, our institutions are not properly educated to teach what I'm talking about. Most insurance, and we teach you about credit scores, bank loans, interest rates. That's the tall and short of it all. And then only that. That's it, right? But financial literacy, technically or based on the word, is understanding how to read the markets. And there's a season for every type of investment. Right now, we're going through a 100-year cycle that we come back to our money. Because the 71 years. So we should be saving the things that are deflationary, meaning that it will never lose its value over a long period. It holds its value over a long period. And an example of that is 1964, these two things right here were equal, right? 1 ounce of silver, which is the silver eagle, was equal to $1. Today, it takes 65 of these $1 to buy the same 1 ounce of silver that was only $1 in 1964. So which one would you rather have? Would you rather have your savings go up 6,500%, or would you have your dollar lose 6,500%?
So I'm saying, how would you get it?
Oh, basically, alhamdulillah, the actually has the savings program where they can actually, just like Costco's or BJ, they can put the membership in the Masjid, but that will give them direct access to any type of gold or silver coin, right? Any gold, silver, or copper, or platinum, or whatever. You pay the membership and it gives you access tax-free, right? So that means you can purchase any amount from $1 to $1 million from the gold, silver, or copper, tax-free, and you actually benefit from the membership. It's a community group economic system. We don't live with the gold and silver,
We'll take a quick pause for the calls. Again, you've been watching Community Conversation at National Studios. We're going to have our young scholar come and share some products that you can purchase and support other Masjid from our Halal Muslim store. So we can do this idea for that. As we come down again, you can sign up to our newsletter at www.org. If you have any questions, if you have someone here that can answer your questions, give us more literacy on this recording.
So today, the two detergent Halal made by us, our property, in every United States, or in fabric, and we, of course, our property, and we paid 100 people, which is 1220 days. This is our personal level, personal level, like all your
Parents and grandparents and loved ones, rather than, all of us have our time here for like class. And so we have important information that kind of accessible to our work. So that's what that book is to tell. It's fundraising for the Masjid, it's $10. There's just Amir, she created this document, and she's giving the proceeds to the Masjid. So we want them to buy it on our website or on
also, the true detergent is $15. The personal book is 10. And we got this Muslim Journal pocket calendar. It has you can put events in there, like notes to boost your energy, to give you you got this. Just good stuff like that. This is $5. So we got this e called this is an DVD actually called Changing Others. It's good. It's $20. We got our own flag, the Muslim flag here. $15.
We want to
We also got some rules.
have one completely extra liquor town, as well as we have the magnet fishing. So, we do for the refrigerator, this one we call the liquor town.
So do that again.
One you can put on one. This one you can put on a refrigerator, and this one you can put on like two. And
That's $7.
$7, $5. Last but not least, can't forget it, the Muslim Journal, $3. Donate. You could buy one that the Minister Muhammad. Sometimes I raise the leaders as case That's the first article. Leading leaders as change makers. You buy one, $3, Master Muhammad Word. Turn it back to the host of this podcast.
Thank God here for the strong opportunity to not just spend our money, but also support our community. We welcome those who are joining us on the Masjid. We have products that we also can share on wholesale as well. So I'd like for you to give us a taste of your class, maybe a lesson or two to invite people. You do it every Saturday here at the Masjid after the door from 1:30 to 3.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you some basic information. So a lot of people really don't know that every single developed nation on earth has two forms of currency. One is paper, right, and one is gold, silver, and gold. Every single nation. This is a Mexican dollar. That's silver. This is developed with United States silver equal $1 US. This is the Tanzanian dollar, but this dollar, this over here is this is South Africa. This is a Cougaran, right? And then last but not least, this is a Canadian £5, and they have a Canadian silver, Canadian maple leaf, which is pure silver. Every nation on earth, every developed nation, have both currencies. Why did they only teach us about the paper? Right? Because they want you to keep your money where? In the bank. Well, if we save halal money, right, then the value of our currency would never go down. It would actually have more purchasing power as we go up. That's number one. Let's go deal with the purchasing power. Go to the board. Let's go to the board, family, and do some math, right? So in 1964, or should I say 71, one loaf of bread was 25 cents, right? In 1971, right? $1 could buy 4 loaves of bread. Let's do some math now. 1 gram of gold was equal to $1.25 in 1971, right? 1 gram of gold could buy 5 loaves of bread in 1971, right? I want y'all to really conceive and understand what I'm saying to you. So let's look at 2026. Today, $1 cannot buy even 1 loaf of bread, right? Because the loaf of bread, the average price in the United States is $3. We're not talking about if you do Hawaiian bread or potato bread, that's $5, right? Yeah. But the average price of 1 loaf of bread is $3. So $1 could no longer buy 4 loaves of bread at 25 cents. Let's look at that same 1 gram of gold that was only $1.25 in 1971. 1 gold, $3, right? And today, is now $160, where it was only $1.25 in 1971. Now, if we understand 8th grade math, if $1 bought 4 loaves of bread, and you buy 1 loaf today, and 1 gram of gold bought 5 loaves of bread, but now we can buy 53 loaves of bread, why are we saving US dollars? Because the math is not mathing, right? So that's the reason why we should be saving halal money. Now, here's another important lesson.
Is it because we think we can't spend the halal money? We can only spend the dollars?
It's been indoctrinated enough that paper is money,
Right.
right? Even though we know that all of humanity's, all of life on earth as humans, we always use some type of what they call commodity as money. It was wheat, barley, dates, gold, silver, land, or cattle. Let's go back to Suleiman. In English, they call him Solomon. Supposed to have been the wisest man in the Bible, right? What Solomon was a rich man according to the text in the Bible. He was rich from what he owned. He owned gold, silver, livestock, and land, right? That was 6,000-7,000 years ago. Why are we not saving gold, silver, livestock, and land? It's all still here. Only Allah can create all four of those things, and all of them have retained their value up to now. So those are some of the basic lessons. Now, cryptocurrency is important. I need y'all to understand what's about to happen and what's been happening over the last 10 years. The US dollar is being, the world is de-dollarizing right now. What does that mean? They're dumping US Treasury bonds. The United States sells its bonds in order to fund the US government. So countries that are with the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the UAE, Nigeria, and a few other countries are now dumping US Treasury bonds. So the United States has come up with a plan to circumvent that damage that they're doing to the United States. They have a law called the Clarity Act that's about to pass. Allahu Alam, but we believe it's going to pass July 4th of this year, which is the 250th anniversary of the United States. That will make the US dollar now digital, right? It will be called a stable coin. The uniqueness and purpose of this is to change the purchaser of US bonds from foreign nations to American citizens and corporations.
Is that what like certain states have, that they have stablecoin too? Like
Right, certain states have, they may develop their own stable coins at time, over time, but as of early as 2015, the United States have classified Bitcoin as a commodity, right? Under the CFTC, Commodity Futures Trade Commission. The CFTC also regulates corn, coffee, wheat, other commodities, right? Well, in 2026, historically, this is how we know that cryptocurrency is forever part of the United States financial infrastructure. 16 cryptocurrencies have now been classified as commodities under the CFTC, along with gold, silver, copper, turkey, all of those things. So that's an indication that crypto is not going anywhere. They're going to use this in the near future, starting next month. I'm going to already let this a couple of phrases. All right, so I want to give you guys a couple of phrases to look up. The number one phrase, or should I say the word, is Basel III, BASEL 3, which is a banking law that they're about to change, or they already changed, reclassifying gold as a tier 1 asset in zero risk. Basel III. The next one is the Clarity Act, which is cryptocurrency, clear regulation in not just in the United States, but globally. The Genius Act, it's like the Genius in IUS, the Genius Act passed last year, right? So that is also law, now making the US dollar digital, right? Last but not least, they have something called FedNow. In 2023, the US government started using blockchain technology on a federal level. The FedNow system that we use, we use the old system, which is the fiat currency system, the dollar system. Well, FedNow takes over starting this July, along with Clarity Act. So these are some of the laws that we need to pay attention to, because in that fine time, they're going to reclassify gold and silver as legal tender. Over 12 states has already done it. 20 more states, which will be 35, 32, are now have legislation to make gold and silver legal tender. You take it to the grocery store, the car lot, the PSCG, and use gold and silver pay it, but it will be in a digital form. But we hold it physically until that transition takes place. Yep.
Basel 3, 30, and fit now. All these things, what would be the effect? I mean, I'm gathering that it's going to be a shift.
Yes, it is.
Big shift.
So just like, and I want us to, as Muslims or Christians, I want us to be clear on that. A lot of these things have nothing to do with religion, right? If you look at Wi-Fi, GPS, that completely with new technology. Right? So if those digital things exist, then we have these things that we call Apple Pay, right? And now PayPal. All of those are digital AI digital payment systems. Well, cryptocurrency will be what they call a quality. Blockchain technology will be the quality that the new financial systems are running. They have a regulatory authority in the United States called PTC, the Depository Trust Clearing Corporation. They move approximately $14 trillion a day, every 24 hours, trillion. They're going to now use cryptocurrency and blockchain technology to move the value of all of those things. So what does that mean to us? That means that the US dollar will continue to do what? Move the value. The new tokens that are connected to the networks that the DTC will use, that banks will start to use, private corporations like Walmart, Amazon, all of them will create their own. On the other side of that stable coin is the crypto that they will use as a store of value, along with, of course, the precious metals. One of the things I really need to drive home is this. There are over, as of 2026, there are 90 different uses for silver alone in the world, not just in the United States, it's on global. They use it for things that we already know about: electric cars, batteries, solar panels, satellites, microchips, right? It's not only just money, that's silver or silverware. The medical industry, they use silver in it. Filtered water, every single country, every single state in the United States having an silver mechanism in the water. People didn't know that, right? The last but not least, they use silver in every single ICBM. All of those drones, they can't create none of that technology. AI data centers without Bruce, which is copper, and the one which is silver, which is the reason why we should silver. The value of silver is about to grow, it's about to skyrocket because of those conditions.
Wow. So we just got a master class of identifying what's going on presently, what has historically happened, what we do, how is it drop of the value of the dollar because of the not being connected to so
Right.
And before we close, what are some things that you've learned in your career or in your journey of financial literacy that you could share to help a young person coming up, maybe not to make the same mistake, but not take advantage of something?
Well, right now, our children are already have affinity for digital stuff. Digital technology, they already know how to use computers and iPhones, iPads. It's imperative that we, instead of giving our children to have materialistic things, it's important for us to transition right into because that, and do this read, if you're doing our list, right? If the forecasting code of the TV is on that, it's probably going to waste something that's resistant to rain, right? Well, I'm telling you right now, this is one of the only times in history that the Lord has given us an actual record or history of the cycle that's about to happen. We're in the middle of it. So, with that being said, I need y'all to Google and do the research. Use ChatGPT for other than just entertainment. Research how many central banks are buying gold and silver and at what rate they're doing it. How many commercial banks are buying gold and how much buying gold and silver. It would not be a use if they didn't know another monetary system was coming up. That makes sense? They will not be buying tons of gold every month for the last 36 months if they did not know a new monetary system was afoot. So that's the wisdom in what we're doing. We're teaching people, our believers, our community, both in and out, about the precious metals, which is halal money, and cryptocurrency, and the importance of storing it, saving it, and the differences between the two of fiat currency and halal money.
There you have it. His classes are here every Saturday, 1:30 to 3. Make sure you come stop by. We're also looking to go digital with your classes.
Yes, sir.
Setting up his online classes for those who are not in the area. But if you are here locally, welcome here to get the education. One of the things that we just share made me think of is actually a hadith that reported of Prophet. He said, at the end of time, you will see the children of slaves competing for tall buildings. And so when you said about all these boats are doing things with gold, and now you're saying we can do the same thing.
Yes.
If I could also in that race.
Yes, we are. Before we go, I want to read this. This is a 1921 silver order. If you start purchasing, if you start teaching next year, it's still about $200 a month. As of today, silver is about $60 a month. That's 300% in 2 years that silver has gone up. Now, how many people can honestly say savings 300% in 2 years? Now, right? It may not ever go up 200% in your lifetime if you put money in the bank. So this is a form of sadaqah for the Masjid. Okay.
Yes, sir. So you saw it here live. We got some silver, y'all. We invite you to join the class. We also invite you to join in the link so that you also can start transitioning the dollars into halal money for the value of it, as well as investing in the next generation. We're looking to continue to alleviate the debt on our property as well as build models in the community. So we have to, as we used to say back then, we'll be right down to the bottom. So we thank our dear brother Amir for sharing his wisdom with us, free of charge, by the way. But as his story is a dynamic story, I really appreciate you and the work that you've been doing here, inspiring us to do more and to be great. So we thank you for tuning in. Until next time, peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Now, in concluding this, when the slave traders and the black traders of Africa, traitors, different, traitors, when the slave traders and the traitors of Africa called themselves Muslims, were fighting each other and carrying on and weakening their people over there so that the white traders come in there and get us, take us on slave ships and bring us here. Now, all right? Yeah. So now, when all that happened, what you think was happening to our human soul? Let me tell you, God has given me an eye to see into the very abstract form of the human being by my study of the Quran. Yes. Now, I'm going to tell you what was happening. I know, as if I was there. The soul of those victims had given up on this world. They knew they were going to their death. They knew they were going to circumstances that were going to finish them off. They would never have their lives again. They knew that. But in their soul, they were saying, our children will one day be free again, and they will serve God. We have failed, but our children will one day serve God. And now their prayer that they prayed in the deep recesses of their soul has come true. And not only of the descendants of the black people of Africa, from Islam, coming to Islam, taking up the divine cause, but those who never were Muslims, their children from Christianity, their children from Judaism, their children from paganism are embracing Islam in America. And we are going to build New Africa. New Africa! right here in the United States. Allahu Akbar. And the soul of those suffering victims, they're rejoicing because of us here today.